people are more interested in where things are coming from, how the product is being made, as well as obviously the final product is paramount, but those, people are looking more behind the scenes as well. So sustainability has always been a huge part of our mission. Obviously, it's baked right into our mission. I really see us continuing to find innovative ways to use our waste products, and sustainability will always be at the forefront of everything that we do as we continue to grow the business.
We're here again for an episode of FutureFoodCast, where we speak with thought leaders around the world in the food industry, talking about the trends and technology that are shaping the future of food. I'm Chris Rushkowski, part of the FutureFoodCast team, and I'm really excited today to have Hana James here with us from Greenhouse. I believe you're in Toronto. Is that correct, Hana?
Yes, I am in Toronto.
Excellent. Well, really appreciate your time today. And looking forward to hear about a really very interesting business that has grown considerably since you've started it. But before getting into that, I thought, it's always interesting for the audience to understand, for these thought leaders, these entrepreneurs, where did they come from? And how did they actually get started in this crazy business that they thought up by themselves? So how did you get started with this?
So yeah, it's a kind of, it wasn't a direct route to Greenhouse, definitely a little bit more, it wasn't a straight route. So I went to school at McGill for anatomy and cell biology. So my plan when I was in university was to actually go to med school. So I did 4 years at McGill, I graduated, and then I was, I was taking a year to write my MCATs, kind of just do my applications and start that journey. And I really loved, what I thought about medicine. I loved, the healing part, the interaction with people. I really thought that was what medicine was all about. So I write the MCATs, start writing my applications. At the same time, because it's obviously that wasn't all my time, I took a job working at this very small health focused cafe. So this was like 2011, 2010, probably 2010. And so, there wasn't the health and wellness scene in Toronto was very different. So it was this little cafe. Actually, it wasn't vegan. It wasn't anything specific, but they were serving quinoa before quinoa was served at every restaurant. And there was alternatives, they had gluten-free options, they had dairy-free options. So it was really interesting to work at this little cafe and interact with people coming in specifically because of those alternative options. So I made these relationships and talked, it was really a conversation about health versus about what they, obviously it was about what they were eating, but it really was a conversation about health, which I loved. I was getting up at 6 a.m. to make coffees and serve people pastries, and I loved doing it. I got up every day and was excited to go to work. So at the same time, writing these medical school applications, and I wasn't really able to write them. They were asking me questions like, why do you love research? And what do you think that you can give to the medical community in terms of this love of research? And I was like, what? I was like, I don't love research at all. Like, it's not really, that's not what so then I, started speaking to more doctors in the field and really digging into what a career in medicine was. And it's a very admirable career. It's an amazing and essential career. But I realized that the reasons I had chosen it were not actually what the career looked like. Right. So I was at this crossroads of what, am I going to do something that I'm really passionate about, or do something, I was very good at sciences. And so I was like, or do something that I have the skill set to do, but might not necessarily be passionate about. And I decided to go with the route of passion a little bit more. And I decided to start my own business because I loved working in this cafe, but I also knew that I wasn't going to be satisfied just working there every day for the rest of my life. I would want to do something else. So it was a great opportunity that came around before Greenhouse. I was able to open a little, like an organic snack and juice bar inside of a gym. Located in Rosedale, called Totem Life Science. I opened Cafe Shoe, which was my first little entrepreneurial venture.
Mhm.
And it was great. I made food, snacks, and juices, and I wasn't doing cold pressed juice at the snack bar. It was a slow juicer, but it was amazing to see how excited people were about the products.
Mhm.
Getting organic food, getting organic juice and smoothies, and just being able to get food that like food that you basically made at home, but that you could get outside of the home. So that was
Yeah.
kind of the angle I was going for. If people could feel good about eating it and feel good afterwards. So I ended up opening in their a second little bar in their location downtown on King Street, and I did that for about 2 years. And at that time, it was again, I was at another crossroads of this business is going well, but I need it to really grow. I need to go outside of the gym, like
Mhm.
and do my own thing in my own brick and mortar or do something else. And it was at that time that my partners Anthony Green and Emma Knight, who are then living in California, originally from Toronto, and I'd
Mhm.
known them from childhood, came to me, and they knew that I was looking to do something else, and they said, would you want to open a cold pressed juice bar with us? And it
Wow.
was, again, timing seemed it was the right timing, and everything fell into place. And then in the January 2014, we opened Greenhouse.
That's an amazing backstory. And before we kind of, step into that next chapter, really congratulate you on the bravery it took, frankly, to step away from that tremendous education. I similarly went to, some pretty high-powered science and engineering type of education. And I would say it takes more courage to pivot at that point than it actually took to enter the program. So great for you and great for following what you love and your passion.
Yeah,
Um,
thank you. I have to say that my parents were very, very supportive of it. So I did say that if by 30, nothing was working out, I would go back to med school. So
hmm.
I'm now definitely past 30, and I'm not at med school. So I think things are
Right.
going well.
Well, it's clearly going well. So tell us a bit about how you got started with Greenhouse and where the product started and how things have grown up over the years.
Yeah, definitely. So we launched Greenhouse back in 2014 because we couldn't find organic cold pressed juice bottled in glass anywhere in Toronto. And that was what we wanted to drink. Like, it was really surprising that, as I said, my partners were living in California, and the cold pressed juice bar on every corner. When I would visit friends in New York or in California, say, it was just part of your daily routine because it was so easy and it was so accessible. And that was something that wasn't available in Toronto. So that was really the kind of the impetus to start Greenhouse. We wanted to be able to drink this delicious product that was also really great for our health. So we launched in 2014, and we decided we decided to make our ideal product with no, we didn't want to have to compromise on any of our commitments. So we wanted it
Mhm.
to be 100% organic. We wanted it to be bottled in glass. We wanted it to be the highest quality ingredients. And we really came up, I think, we really built our mission in that first year. And our mission is to offer widespread sustainable access to plant-based nutrition and wellness of the highest quality.
Mhm.
And since 2014, that's what we've been doing. We opened our first store, which is located kind of at just in between Summerhill and Rosedale in Toronto. It's a
Mhm.
little coach house, kind of just off of Yonge Street.
Mhm.
And we started there. The first day we opened our doors on a very chilly January day. We didn't expect that many people to come because you're selling something with the name cold, with the word cold
Right.
in it, and it's -30 out. But they did come, and we ended up selling out in that
Mhm.
first, in the first hour of us being open, which was very exciting. We continued to produce, and we saw that there was really a demand for this in Toronto.
Mhm.
People, we thought we opened in the neighborhood that we were familiar with, but we saw people coming from everywhere. And that first year we opened 3 more stores. We continued to expand, and we've been continuing to work on the accessibility piece, the widespread piece
Mhm.
of our mission, because that's definitely been hard. When when we first opened, our products were very expensive because we weren't going to compromise on those commitments that we made. And now we've just been working of like, how do we grow and bring those price points down? How do we become more efficient so that we can pass along those savings to our customers as well?
Wow. Well, I think that encapsulates exactly why we're excited to have you on this program today, which is not many entrepreneurs start out and then within a year they've got 3 facilities and they're growing rapidly. So again, really congratulate you on that, really reading the market and being in the right place at the right time. So you started out with cold pressed juice, and I've been through the website, of course, and that is still a leading part of what you're doing. But maybe talk to us a little bit about how Greenhouse has grown up and expanded the products that you're producing and selling through your own shops and through other shops.
Yeah, so we through the expansion. So now, through the years, we've opened multiple more locations, brick and mortar locations. We've grown our production facility. We now have kind of a state-of-the-art production facility in just near the airport in Toronto, where we can produce these products at a really safe and efficient way. And as you said, cold pressed juice is our bread and butter. It's funny, bread and plant-based bread and butter.
Right.
But we also offer, we do organic gum-free plant milks, low sugar kombuchas, plant-based boosters. In our stores, we also do plant-based smoothies as well. So we've really expanded that offering, again, so far within the beverage world. And we're now, which is exciting, in the past kind of couple of years, we've expanded outside of Toronto. So now we're available across Canada as well in grocery stores.
Interesting. So I am based in Calgary. Do you happen to have products in Calgary?
We do have products in Calgary. So if I think I'd have to check on the website of where exactly.
I will find it.
Of where exactly we are, but we're in, most major grocery stores in kind of in the urban centers. We would be in, and some smaller players as well.
Yeah.
We've really worked on that, our distribution network to kind of grow it, because again, we want it to be widespread and accessible, and that is part of it. Is not just catering to the neighborhoods where we have brick and mortars in Toronto, but being able to have presence where people can see our product where they might be shopping on a daily basis.
Well, I will find that this afternoon, but sticking to the topic of trends, your company yourself, certainly, I think not only a trendsetter, but somebody who has found this place in the market where there is a tremendous amount of demand. How does that informed your growth plans? And like you said, you've focused still, I think, quite a bit on beverages and natural products. Is that how you see the future of Greenhouse as well?
Yeah, we definitely see that, the trend, I think it's accelerating even more now, but even back then we saw the trend toward plant-based eating and drinking. And for us, it's never been an all or nothing proposition. Really, our motto is more plants, more often. So thinking about putting plants at the center of the plate or the glass as often as possible is an easy, delicious shift that we can all make to improve our own health and that of the planet. Right. So that I think that's the trend, and we feel that's the thinking of most people. Definitely there are a lot of people who are going, more on that, on one way or the other, more, but we think that balance of just more plants more often really is where people are headed. So that's why we want to be able to provide a variety of different beverages. Low sugar, of course, is another big trend that we've seen and that we have always been committed to, making sure that our beverages, they taste really great, but you can taste things other than just sweet. So, our green juices have a lot of different notes and it has a really complex flavor profile. We also, we know the food is a huge part of it, as of course. Unfortunately, we do offer some food items in our brick and mortar stores, but we know that that's also a different business. So in 2017 we actually released the Greenhouse Cookbook, which was a national bestseller. It was published by Penguin, and it contains 100 plant-based recipes for those plant curious people, and 50 of those are actually food recipes, and then 50 are juice and smoothie recipes. So really see that. I think we'll continue to develop on that, to continue to develop our offering and offer more plant-based beverages and more plant-based items down the road.
Excellent. In this, in your feedback here, you've used a couple of phrases that point to a direction that we see coming up a lot in these podcasts, which is the topic of sustainability. And that certainly seems to be partly what's driving your business. For example, the focus on plant-based products. But how do you see the topic of sustainability, one, driving your business, but at the same time, driving the consumer interest in products that you're producing?
Yeah, I think that these days people are more interested in where things are coming from, how the product is being made, as well as obviously the final product is paramount, but those, people are looking more behind the scenes as well. So sustainability has always been a huge part of our mission. Obviously, it's baked right into our mission. Supporting local farmers in Toronto when we can, always using organic produce, being bottled in glass. And this is not, it's not the easy or most cost-effective way, but for us, it's so important for the health of our product and for the health of the planet. We are, we've just actually recently, I guess it will almost be a year now, we got certified as a B Corp. So really taking that commitment to sustainability to the next level, so that we will be, we will be held accountable. And I think that our customer appreciates that we're taking those extra steps to show our commitment to sustainability. I see as, we're always looking for ways of how can we reuse the pulp from our juices? What are other ways that this can be used? We can give it back to the farm, but we have a lot of pulp. So what are other avenues that we can explore? So I really see us continuing to find innovative ways to use our waste products and to continuously, and I think that sustainability will always be at the forefront of everything that we do as we grow the business, as we continue to grow the business.
Excellent. Well, you've touched also around a number of interesting sort of technology leverage points that you have, and I want to get into some of that discussion. But you also mentioned something that I think maybe not consumers know very much about, which is the concept of a B Corp. And maybe can you tell us a little bit more of why you made that decision, and how does that influence the normal operation of your company?
Yeah, so certified B Corps. So it's a certification that we can, that's recognized around the world. And they are businesses that meet the highest standards for verified social and environmental performance. There's public transparency, legal accountability to balance profit and purpose. So for us, it was important, I think that we've been doing that since we opened, that's always been what we've been doing, but I think it was really important to kind of make it official and be accountable to someone other than ourselves, so that our customer knows that it's not just what we say, but it's what we are doing as well. And that there is someone other than us to verify that. And then we also are part of a community of other businesses that are doing the same thing, so that we know who our peers are that are putting the environment and social responsibility kind of at the top of their missions as well.
Good. Well, I think we'd like to see more consumers understanding what a B Corp is. And it's great to see that finally the business community is caught up to companies like yours and being able to recognize that. So that's great to see.
Yeah.
Now, maybe then turning a little bit to the topic of technology, and obviously in our lives today, just look at this podcast we're doing. Technology drives a lot of what we're doing every day and how we do it. And there's a number of areas that we can talk about here, but I know you've had some interesting technology applications that help your product be successful in the market. And maybe you can tell the viewers a little bit about that.
Yeah, definitely. So before, when we first launched, our product had a shelf life of 3 to 5 days. Obviously, this caused our product to be more expensive. It made it difficult for us to be widespread or accessible, beyond kind of those that are our small community of Toronto. And we knew that we needed to figure out a way to solve this, or to help extend the shelf life of our products without compromising the integrity of the product, to really fulfill our mission. So we worked on it. That was definitely a big part of our growth. And we worked with, we have PhD scientists on staff, and we have a whole research team of how can we do this. There's obviously, I don't know if you, obviously pasteurization, which everyone is familiar with, which is how a shelf life of a product like milk is extended by applying heat. A lot of juice companies use something called HPP, which is high pressure pascalization, and it applies pressure to a product, a liquid product like juice, to kill any bacteria. This is used by many companies, but for us, it wasn't really an option because the product needs to be packaged in plastic for it to use this technology. And it also did, it maintains the integrity of some of the nutrients, but it still did kill some of the nutrients as well. So for us, it wasn't the right solution for us. So we, did a lot of work on this. We actually got a grant from the government of Canada to work on this new technology that we are now using. It's called, we termed it light filtration. And the grant from the government was used to build our facility, to implement this new technology, and to be able to expand and distribute our product across Canada. So the way that light filtration works, it uses cold UV light. Again, this is not a novel technology. Cold UV light is used to treat every single water bottle that you've ever drank, because the cold UV light has germicidal properties, and so it makes water bottles safe. And the reason it's used for water bottles is because it can pass through clear liquids, but it can't pass through a turbid or opaque liquid. So that is why it's never been used for juice. So instead of us, and that's kind of why it's never been used. But so our technology, it uses it uses motion as well as the cold UV light, so that we get the juice to travel to the light versus the light traveling through the juice. And this achieves is able to achieve those same germicidal properties that pasteurization or the HPP would use to make our product safe and to help extend the shelf life of our product.
It's amazing. Not only following the trends, but creating technology that can bring other products to market. I'm curious, this technology that you've developed, is it something that other companies are using now? Is it something that you're?
So we're currently the only company. I think we're the only company using it for juice at the moment. I'm sure other companies will start using it, but it's definitely been a process, because it's not just about, it's about that there's that technology, but then there's also, maintaining the cold chain, and how, making sure everything is, the produce is as clean as it possibly can be before it's juiced, and having HEPA filters in our, and everything kind of, attacking that at every step of the production is so important.
Right. So, along with all these great innovations and the great materials that are used, all this, it's important to you as an entrepreneur, as a business leader. Of course, it's important, to the consumers as well. And that's where the topic of transparency typically comes up. And I think the challenge, especially for a company like yours, is not the desire to be transparent, but how do you be transparent? And what are consumers looking for how you communicate with them and get them to be understanding and enthusiastic about your product? So, what are the technical mechanisms that you're using to communicate with your customers?
So yeah, definitely, like, transparency, I think, is more important than ever these days. Knowing where things come from is really important. And I think the consumer is is taking that into consideration more and more as they shop. So we do, we work with local farms throughout the Ontario growing season. We seek out suppliers who put the health of their customer and of the planet at the center of their decision making, so that we know that we can stand behind them as well, because we know that it's not just our product, but all the products that go into it. We are, we've got a great blog on our website that has amazing information about our technologies, about everything that we're doing. We've always been really transparent with our customer, always opening up a conversation about everything we do and why we're doing it. And I think that was, when it came to, when we first launched, it was, there was a question of brick and mortar or just e-commerce. And for us, it was so important to start with those brick and mortars, because we were a new tight category of product, to be able to talk to the customer, to educate them, to explain why this product was worth consuming, was worth purchasing, and to have that conversation, I think really made a difference.
Well, like everybody else in the food sector, the last couple of years has had the entire industry pivoting, with e-commerce becoming much more important. And especially with your product, as you noted, when you first got started, you had shelf lives on the order of 3 days, which might be a challenge from the e-commerce side. But how did the stage you've gotten to with your company in having more range of product, but also longer lasting product, how are you able to leverage e-commerce to continue to penetrate market and build size during the last 2 years?
Yeah, so we actually we launched with brick and mortar, but very shortly after we launched our e-commerce site, because we realized that, especially if people were purchasing, something, this was a product that we saw as something that you bake into your daily routine, and especially being packaged in glass, like coming into a store and leaving with 7 glass bottles of juice, it was heavy. So we realized that having this delivered to your home was something that, again, enabled it to be more widespread and more accessible. So we built our e-commerce quite early on, and within Toronto, within the GTA, we've expanded that and definitely being able to grow throughout the pandemic. It was really obviously essential to the business. We also started carrying other plant-based products. We launched something called the Plant Pantry, so that people who were purchasing from us could get some of their other favorite plant-based goods as well. And since we had the infrastructure and the logistical capabilities, we thought we could leverage that for our fellow businesses and for our customer as well. And then being able to, obviously now, some of our products were able to ship across Canada. We don't do the e-commerce side across Canada, is still something that we're working on for ourselves, of how, what's the best way of getting it out there. But yeah, the e-commerce has been essential to our growth for sure, especially, and just, being able to get the word out there, continue to market our product has been really great.
Excellent. Well, combining some of the last couple of topics we discussed of transparency and the shift to e-commerce, I think we all kind of get it. When a customer walks into a store, you've got a person representing your product there, and they really can communicate face to face. And that's certainly the best method for helping customers understand. But how have you bridged that transparency gap and the interest that customers have of really understanding, especially for fresh foods, and that's the key reason they're buying the product? How have you bridged that transparency gap for the e-commerce customers in the e-commerce side?
So we've really, we do have kind of we've got a great customer service team. So we've got an active chat situation that when you go on our site, that you can ask questions. As I said, our blog, we try to kind of get ahead of people's questions and really go into depth on what we're doing, why we're doing it, so that people, that you can come into the store and talk to us about it. But if if you're not able to, that you're able to go onto our website. We've got a great FAQ section that's built around questions we've received from our stores. The most obviously frequently asked questions from our customers, that I think that, that we really try and tackle that transparency. I think that we've tried our best to give as much information on our products as possible on the website. Giving out the nutrition, giving the nutritionals, giving a description of the flavors, and
Okay.
I think that that's really helped to communicate with our online customer.
Yeah, without getting into the technical details of, let's not worry about all the details of supply chain and that type of thing, but do you see an increasing interest from customers that really want, if they could, they would love to know that it came from this farm near Calgary, or it came from a farm in California? And would that be helpful to them in terms of encouraging them to buy the product?
Yeah, like I definitely. So we work directly with farms, and as I mentioned, we in the Ontario growing season, we work with local farmers, and we've done, again, through our blog, and we've done interviews with these farmers so that people can see exactly who we're working with. We are very, as I said, when we're choosing suppliers, we make sure that we can, if someone asks who our suppliers, we can say this person and this person, because we stand behind those people's businesses as well. And I think there's definitely seeing more people who are interested in knowing those details as well.
Interesting. Now, does this extend into customers' interests or are they interested at all in, is what they're eating GMO free? Is it organic? Or do they really want the confidence that Greenhouse is getting the best product they can get and delivering it fresh? What's the real breakdown of what customers are really looking for on these details of organic, GMO, et cetera?
Yeah, I think that especially with, like, so we're a certified organic company, and we weren't always, early on, we were always using organic, but we weren't certified. And I think that it is important. We've always said it's so important for juice, because with cold pressed juice, your body can just absorb it. You don't need to break down any fibers. There's no filter. So it's so important to have those organic products. And I think that our at least our customer definitely cares about having that certification and knowing that our products are always organic. And then I do think there is a level of trust that we've built with our customer, that knows that we are using the highest quality products to make, that we're using the highest quality suppliers, that we have the best interest of our customer at heart, because we are producing a product based in health. We know that there's real health benefits. We've experienced them. We've seen them in our customers. So we know that we have that responsibility to choose the best products, and having that we can only create the highest quality product by using the best products. And I think that we've proven to our customer that we're doing that, and we'll continue to do that.
Yeah, I think what you're describing is not only the words you're using, but the tone you're using. I've seen a number of times with food entrepreneurs like yourself, and one of the areas that's really been resonating with them and their customers is authenticity. Is customers really believing that the people producing their food actually care, and they have the same attitude about consuming the food. It's not just a marketing message. So it sounds like you communicate that also largely through the bricks and mortar side, but maybe also through social media.
Yeah, definitely. We have a great social media following, and I think we have a very engaged audience on our social media. So I think, definitely, I think there is that quality. I think authenticity is the right word for it. I worked in the store for the first almost 3 years. So if you came into one of our locations, you could find me and ask me kind of any question. And I love that part. I love doing that. And it was really important also for us, for me to do that. We all felt that being able to come in and talk to someone about any question you might have about the product, being able to talk to one of the co-founders kind of really elevated that experience as well.
Excellent. Well, we've had a great opportunity to see that you and Greenhouse are clearly identifying market trends, leading market trends, and even leading technology that's enabling these market trends to be more easily consumed in the communities. But what do you see coming over the next 2, 3, 4 years? What types of products are we going to see from Greenhouse that you might not have today, but the new directions that you're going, extensions, pivots, et cetera?
I think there's a lot of different things in the works, and not sure which ones will come through, but
Sure.
I think that definitely, we've been expanding our plant milk line quite a bit.
Mhm.
We just released 0-gram sugar oat milk,
Mhm.
which we're very excited about. So I think definitely some more innovation in that category, because that's a fast growing category for
Mhm.
sure. Yeah, I think that you'll see some exciting stuff in the booster department. We call them little mini hits of health,
Mhm.
very functional beverages. Yeah, I think there'll be some exciting stuff coming out in both of those
Excellent.
categories.
Yeah, the whole concept of functional food, it's definitely a key word with industry experts, but I think it's becoming a key word for the general public as well. And you've got some great products out there that I just saw on your website, but like I said, have to try a little bit later today also.
Yeah, definitely. If you go on our website, I think you can actually find there's a store locator, so you should be able to quickly find where they are located in
Excellent.
Calgary.
Excellent. Well, I really appreciate your time today.
Yeah, thank you
And
so much for having me.
coming also from a fellow entrepreneur who's had some successes and some failures in companies, and it's not easy to do what you're doing. And really respect the success you've had. Great to see new exciting companies coming up in Canada, especially with the ethos that you and your founders have behind it. So thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. It was great chatting to you.
Excellent. And again, we're here with Hana James from Greenhouse, and definitely a food leader, not only in Canada, but in North America as well. Thank you very much, Hana.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Future Foodcast. Future Foodcast is powered by Farm to Plate, the leading food blockchain platform. Subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts to stay up to date with the very latest innovations in the food industry.